You're listening to Fresh Floppies, episode 11. Wow!
Your days in one. This day undone.
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Nerd Nation? Geek Nation? Nerd Nation. I think Nerd Nation is taken by some other thing.
I don't know.
I feel like it is. It seems like so easy.
The Cult Nation. No,
I feel there's documentaries about stuff like that. Yeah. Welcome to episode 11 of Fresh Floppies. Here we're going to give spoiler-free reviews of comic books that come out today on the shelves right now. So listen to this before you go to the store and tell everyone in the store that you listen to this amazing show where they review comic books that are brand spanking new, fresh as it were, as a metaphor for what we're doing. There's a lot of books today.
What's a floppy?
A floppy. A floppy's a floppy. When they tell you
issue.
They tell you not to define something using the same term.
Right, yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, what's a floppy? It's
a
floppy.
Yeah.
It's fresh though, so don't worry.
Speaking of going to the store,
yeah.
I have had people come in to the store, Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA.
I've heard of it.
127. And they specifically are picking up books because we talked about it.
What?
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
I love that.
Hey, tell us more stories about that.
Tell us more about us. We love it.
I want to know how I've changed your life.
Yeah. Not for the worse, though. Just
for the better.
Yeah.
No, like for real, is there something that you picked up and you're reading now that we kind of shooed you on? Or is there a suggestion we made and you were like, you guys are stupid?
That was the dumbest suggestion ever.
Email us at
CultPopGo@gmail.com.
That's right.
I was trying to cover for you while you burped. Sorry.
I didn't burp.
Oh, sorry. I mean, it's
but
natural.
I know a lot of like the breathing I do sounds like burps. I have a sleep study coming up, so we're gonna figure it out. Do we talk about comics?
Speaking of high voices, I have a TikTok, and people all of a sudden have decided that I sound like Charlie Day. I've gotten a bunch of comments. You sound like Charlie Day.
I mean, you have some of that energy depending on if you're excited about something.
What my wife likes to call, what kind of dog is it that's really excitable?
Terriers? Chihuahuas?
No, the big one. The big dumb dog that everyone loves.
A Saint Bernard? A Labrador?
I don't know. Anyway, she said I've got that sort of energy. It's like a puppy energy. I'll take it. Anyway, books. Let's talk about them.
Well, we're sidetracking. Let me think about what kind of animals energy I have.
Brown. Oh, you. Oh, okay.
No. The big brown. That's a Labrador. Labrador retriever. Maybe it's a Labrador retriever. Like a lab.
Right.
Yeah.
A lab. Yeah.
A chocolate one or a brown one?
All white.
What would your name be?
Stop it.
Okay. We're gonna talk about the seminal blockbuster issue that came out today from DC, Dawn of DC, as it were. Batman 135. No. Legacy 900.
Yeah.
Batman number 900, written by Chip Zdarsky with art in the main story by Mike Hawthorne. But the whole back half of the issue is drawn by Jorge Jimenez and Mikel Janin.
What's the presentation like?
Well, it's a thickie boy. It's $6.99 cover price on just the paper stock. I'm sure that
with two C's.
Thick with two C's. It's a thickie boy.
Oh.
Well, two C's.
That's
two C's in other languages is a
ch.
So it's thish.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a thishy boy. It's I mean, it's not glossy pages, but the present, like, it's bound pretty well, just staple bound pretty well. It's not flimsy at all. It's a pretty hefty issue.
Feels good.
Yeah, it does feel good. And I almost, so an issue this big, it's double sized. I want to say it's maybe like 45 to 60 pages. Mm-hmm. There are cardstock variants of this.
Yeah. This
is the size of comic that, like, I wouldn't want cardstock. Because it's slightly thicker. It needs to have a little bit of bend for pages. Where, like anything over 48 pages, I think should be perfect bound. Mm-hmm. If it's cardstock cover. Other than that, this is great. I like the flimsiness of a issue this big. So I would go with an incredibly fresh presentation.
Have you read any of the Batman? You read the first
by
issue of
by
this
Zdarsky?
run.
Right? What, Chip Zdarsky's Batman so far? Yes. I read the whole first arc.
Oh.
The fail-safe arc. I read the whole first arc. and then the first issue of this arc. And I have not read since, so that is a 3 to 4 issue gap that I have, and I jumped back in.
I read the first issue of the Failsafe arc, and I have not jumped on until this issue.
So we're gonna spoil a little bit about what happened in that first arc.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a very, very good segue about this issue. Is this a good jumping on point?
No, no. Listen, here's the thing. I'm a little miffed. This is Legacy number 900.
Yeah.
And that should be an issue for new readers. 100%. People are going to see, oh, it's a Legacy 900. It's a 900th issue. Oh, my God, what a big deal. Blah, blah, blah. Let me go pick that up. Oh, it is the last issue of a series. And they also don't give me a previously on, so I have no idea what I'm getting into
That's
here.
a DC thing, yeah.
This needs to be the first issue of a new arc. This should have been wrapped up 1 issue ago, and this should be the jumping on point. What do you think?
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I kind of stopped expecting that a little while ago, especially with the DC anniversary issues.
Yeah.
If anything, for the last couple of years, they've always been the end of arc.
Ugh, I hate it.
So, like, I remember it was a Wonder Woman anniversary issue, like 650 or some shit.
Yeah, but wasn't it like
but it was
they wrapped
the whole
up an
first
arc and then
the whole first half was wrapping up an arc, which honestly, this is not that far from. So like the previous arc is wrapped up in the first half of this book, and then Bruce is kicked through a door. Yeah. Everything after being kicked through a door is kind of falling
he
through
doesn't defeat
falling
the villain until the end
falling,
of the issue.
The entire back half. Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah,
you're right.
It's still one story. He's
you're
still
absolutely
fighting
right.
his way to beat the villain through the entire issues.
Yeah,
now,
you're right.
I'm going to be honest. The way I read this book was I opened it up and I went, I have no idea what any of this is. But I remember seeing 1989 Batman when I was flipping through. So let me go to that part of the book. And I kind of started reading halfway through because I just wanted to see the multiversal Batman. And then I got to the end and I was like, oh, all right, I got a couple more minutes. Let me go back and read the beginning of it. Because my plan was not to actually talk about this book. But I was like, oh, I read the whole thing, might as well. The last half of it is delightful and fun, with one caveat about his mechanical hand, where it comes from as opposed to where it could have come from. But this was kind of a mess for me. I have no idea what was going on. I don't know who this villain is. I don't care about this villain. But of course, I haven't read the book, so why would I? The end of it's great. I really like the back half of this book because of the art by Jorge Jimenez and Mike Michaljanin. Otherwise, this was kind of a waste for me. This should have been a first issue of the next arc.
If I was still reading in monthly, this would be an amazing ending. Mm-hmm. Having some understanding of what's going on. Marginally, this red mask guy. Yeah. He's a multiversal Joker, I guess, or an alternate Joker. I love the idea of a lot of this, but it is a bit messy, and part of that is us jumping in, but it's still a bit messy. Yeah,
it's a little unfair for me to judge the book because I haven't read the rest of the series.
But just looking at it from like a high level, Mike Hawthorne is a great artist, but him, in contrast to the whole back half of the book, is almost a disservice.
Tastes vary. But every time I see a Jorge Jimenez cover on Batman, I go, oh, you know what? Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez, I got to be reading this. And I pick it up, and I see the Hawthorne art inside, and I put it down.
Some of the stuff in here, the first half is all Mike Hawthorne, and Mike Hawthorne did this whole arc. Yeah. It's a little reminiscent of recent Brian Hitch.
Oof. Like it's that bad.
No, I mean I wouldn't call it. So like look at something like this. Yeah. It's very like his bodies, his like how he physically puts people in spaces is not unlike how Brian Hitch does. It almost in a realistic but almost rubbery kind of way.
Yeah, rubbery. That's a good thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
It's not displeasing, but it's also not like my favorite. Yeah. So I mean, Jorge Jimenez returns to the book after this.
Great.
He left for a little bit to go do Nemesis with Mark Miller. He is a very fast artist, so I hope he does. I know he stabbed somebody with his head. It was fine. I think it was fresh enough.
Yeah.
If I was reading the book, I'd probably be a little bit more invested.
What's below just or fresh enough? Barely fresh.
Yeah.
It's barely fresh for me.
Yeah.
But again, that's because I haven't read this. Based on not having read the rest of it, that's my fault.
You heard it, everybody. JD hates Batman, thinks you're stupid for liking it.
Yeah.
Did I summarize that correctly?
You know what, though? There's a lot of fun in the back half of this book.
Oh,
the back half, fresh. What's that above?
It is
fresh enough.
This is worth the buy. Just seeing Jorge Jimenez and Michael Janin aping other artists.
Yes.
You've got them doing Bruce Timm. You've got them doing Frank Miller. You've got them doing Adam West Batman, 89 Batman, Kelly Jones. Like these are awesome recreations of some other like panels and scenes from comic books over the last 900 issues.
Yeah.
And it's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like that's what I meant by the book itself isn't very accessible up the whole first half if you haven't been reading the book, but as soon as he gets Bruce gets pushed through this multiversal door, it just becomes a lot more accessible if you've ever read any Batman. And I honestly forgot that the bad guy is still at the end of the book.
Yeah.
Because this was just kind of a fun journey through the the Batverse.
Yeah, I loved it. The back half is awesome.
So we're going a little extra. Or it's not. I mean, can you even spoil Batman books anymore? We're not going to spoil the final page.
But no, I mean, I think that there are setups in the back half that pay off, like where he gets the belt from.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff pays off,
and how it defeats the shark.
And
I laughed.
And against my will, I mean, I'm kind of interested as to where this goes next.
I'll read the next issue. I just wish the next issue was this issue, because this number 900 should be a jumping on point.
I mean, maybe people smarter than us in publishing think that these kind of anniversary issues should be bridging issues and not jump on issues.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. Speaking of a jumping on point,
Shazam,
segues, bitches.
Shazam #1 by Mark Waid and Dan Mora, the blockbuster team that's been bringing us
World's Finest.
Yep, World's Finest, as well as
separately.
Yeah.
Dan Mora is
drawing everything.
Yeah, I know, right? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Part 2, 1 through 5. Once in Future, who did Detective Comics for a while with Mariko Tamaki. Klaus with Grant Morrison. He's basically the best right now.
Yeah, he really is. He's killing it.
He's also as fast as Bagley. So, this cat just covers 2 books a month now.
I know he does it.
I have no clue. He draws everything for everyone, and I'm here for it.
The only reason I don't care about Shazam, never have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fair weather.
But the reason I was very excited, and that was the first thing I read this week, is because Mark Waid and Dan Mora were on the book.
It's not one over the other. It's like Mark Waid
this team
and Dan Mora? Okay.
Yeah. And this was delightful. I thought this was really fun. I like that Dan Mora draws Shazam with a boyish wonder. He looks good.
I mean, I was all for him playing with toys. He's playing with action figures.
He acts like a kid. The presentation, I have the Chris Samnee, who's another one of my all-time favorite artists, Chris Samnee variant cover, which has a cardstock. Does yours? Yours doesn't.
No, I have the
main
cover, and it is not. It's the same kind of. It's the same, slightly more thick feel than Batman 900. Now, what DC does that Marvel doesn't. So Marvel will have the whole book glossy, so the cover feels the same as the pages. DC has matte finished, almost paper stock quality pages, so it at least feels different in your hands, and it doesn't all rub. So even though it's technically a worse quality of paper, it's still, I think it reads better.
Feels good. And it starts off with Shazam riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which at the beginning of the story is delightful with what's going on with those dinosaurs. And the Rock of Eternity is where Shazam got his powers from. There's the wizard there, for anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't seen the films. And he gets his powers. He gets, Shazam is actually an acronym.
Oh yeah, it's in here.
I'm flipping to it, Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. And so I like that it sort of explains how his powers work. It also explains his limitations.
Yeah,
which I like.
I want to talk about that.
Go for it.
So Mark Waid has this amazing ability to define a hero or just superhero by what they can't do more than what they can. Mm-hmm. He did this on his Daredevil run, which makes it one of my favorite runs.
By Chris Samnee as well.
Chris Samnee, yeah. So every other creator talked about what he could do with his sonar vision. Mm-hmm. Mark Waid spent issues talking about the limitations of his sonar vision. Like, he's able to make out a shape, but he can't tell with object permanence whether the shape is behind him or in front of him. Like, things like that. Like, he can't, depending on what kind of, where the noise comes from, he can't necessarily tell.
Oh my God.
Like, so he, you sense something's there or there, but you don't know if it's in front or behind if you're scoping the whole room, stuff like that. Like, he would get really, really, really in the weeds about how much harder it actually is to be Daredevil, not just with
oh, that's wonderful.
And it made everything great. So with this, you could see hints of him doing that. So like, like the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, stamina, power, courage, speed. He makes a point of being like, I don't have I don't have telescopic vision. I can't tell, so I'm just going to go in there and try and see. I don't have, this, so I have to like do what I can over here. Like he's leaning into the limitations of this powerful creature, which is such a great way. And why don't other writers kind of, I don't know. I think there's an obsession with not wanting to dirty up a superhero, but I mean, just exploring where the limitations are, I think is so fun. Yeah. And Wade is really, really good at it.
Agreed. And this first issue is I'm in. I like, this is what's the most fresh? It's the most fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh.
This is great.
Super fresh.
You kind of meet the family, and he actually does let you in on. Oh yeah, that's another variant cover. Is this Dan Mora with Billy Batson and like all of the Shazam adventures going on within the confines of Billy Batson's body. It's very cool. Gorgeous book, super fun. It creates a problem at the end that I didn't see coming. It's really abrupt. And yeah, awesome. Great facial acting there.
This is so the first half of this book I kept just kind of being like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute, but not in any kind of like excited way, just oh, that's cute. The second half of this book where they really get into like the normal life of Billy Batson and limitations, and then like give you that little swerve at the end. I was like, okay, I'm reading this monthly. Yep. Got it.
Got me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a wonderful book. It's fun. This is really good.
Super fresh. Love it. Highly recommend. Go check it out.
Something else that's fresh.
Joe Bob says, check it out. Freshmaker.
Freshmaker, fresh hard.
Peacemaker tries hard. Book 1. It's a Black Label DC book, which just means that it is more adult than the other.
Mature.
Yeah, the Mateers.
Mature.
By Kyle Starks, who also is doing one of my other favorite books currently called I Hate This Place or Fuck This Place, depending on which cover you pick up. With art by Steve Pugh and Jelly Bordaire. Jordi Belair. Holy cats. I read this here at Casa Knoll, and I was laughing so loud and so out of control that his wife, who was upstairs on a different floor having a meeting, was like, texted Knoll and be like, shut up.
Basically.
You're being too loud. Knock it off. This book sideswiped me so hard that it gave me, you noticed it gave me the giggles.
Oh yeah, like one good laugh at the beginning.
Yeah. And I was
set. And then you were set for all of them
Yeah.
because it just kept reminding you, and then you just kept giggling.
Yeah. I laughed so hard at this
So
book.
I'm a Kyle Starks super fan.
Yeah, you are.
I will read anything that his name is on. He also has another book coming out this week.
Oh.
The finale of Where Monsters Lie. Mm-hmm. Which is also a fun book. He has this way, not unlike Mark Russell, where it's set up in punchline, but it's all in character of the story. There's some people that do like comedy that's just aloof or on the surface. Like, this is like, it's silly, but it's smart as shit. And it's so good.
This is it. And the first thing I noticed while I was reading it, by the way, the presentation is wonderful.
Oh yeah.
I think all of the versions of this book have a really thick cardstock cover. There's multiple covers. I've got the cover A. You've got a different cover,
Okay.
which is cover A, but designed to look like a movie poster.
Yeah, so like the variants that I'm calling for every issue of this book, because spoiler alert, I'm getting this book in issues.
Same.
There's a movie poster variant, so it's the main cover, but it's just either given some sort of movie poster treatment. So this one looks a little bit like Dirty Harry. I think the next one looks a little bit like Die Hard. But yeah, and then there's a bunch of variants. I mean, it's a DC book. They do 85 variants.
Yeah. And the one has like a chromium cover. And it's got blood splattered all over him, and he's just like, "What, do I have something on my face?" But yeah, the first thing I noticed is that this Peacemaker, unlike the last Peacemaker series that I tried, this one sounds like the TV version.
Yeah, it sounds
by
like
John Cena.
Yeah.
I heard it in John Cena's voice and his cadence and all that sort of stuff. It's based on that character, and this was awesome. I was shocked at how funny this was to me.
Yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it, like a lot. It's just a really good team. Mm-hmm. Writer and artist, perfect team. Steve Pugh, also a giant fan. He just nails, he puts people on notice for how well his facial acting is, especially when you have to convey something as like specific as sarcasm or condescension or stupidity or excitement, like you even pointed out. So there's a spoiler alert, there's a puppy in this book.
Yeah.
And when Peacemaker sees the puppy, it's a 1/8 panel. It's not even a big panel.
Yeah.
But there is excited love in his eyes,
yeah.
and it's incredibly clear through the mask.
Through the mask, even, yeah.
And there's a lot of artists who could not even pull that off with a full-page spread.
I couldn't imagine Jim Lee drawing this book.
No, fuck no.
And making the jokes land with all the facial expressions.
Absolutely not. Yeah. And there's so much like almost anarchistic energy to this book. You know, like Peacemaker, is going off to save his friend and just starts killing guards, and then the one guard is the one that he's about to kill. He's like, whoa, dude, I'm just like a night guy. I don't know what the hell you're doing. He's like, oh, I killed one of you. It was like, was it Steve?
Gavin?
Oh,
Gavin?
he's like a sex offender, like the worst kind. Don't worry about it. Like, there's just such weird energy to this book that's really funny. This is super fresh. I loved this book.
Super fresh.
I loved it.
If you like the Peacemaker show, you are missing out if you're not getting this book 100%. You want to wrap it up with a Marvel book? Oh, not wrap it up. So the books that you and I both read.
Yeah, well, you know what? How about I'll squeeze in my weekly pitch for Radiant Black book.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
So before the show, we talked about where JD was on Radiant Black, which is not very far.
No,
like maybe issue 12 or 13 or something like that. Issue 24 comes out today.
Oh my god, I'm really behind.
It is a big issue.
Like thick?
No, like it is a plot wise, thematically, an important issue.
There we go.
So light spoilers about what's happening in the book thus far. In the first arc, one of the main characters is laid out and the other main character takes over. Vice versa, things happen. Now both of them are kind of sharing the power of the Radiant. This puts them in a scenario where that might not be possible anymore, and there's multimedia add-ons to it. What I love about Kyle Higgins and all of his books so like lately is they've been playing with other mediums, like go on the website, here's a QR code, listen to the podcast, all like within universe.
Love it.
And this is just more of that. This is also this issue takes place inside Existence, which is, the world of the Radiants. So they play a lot with panel breaks and, like literally the first page is them falling through panels.
Yep.
You could
I
read
love
this
stuff like that.
You could read this with a black light. It is a very neon hued book. And it ends with a hell of an emotional gut punch that I don't know what the status quo is going to be after this.
But
you could help decide.
Yeah.
And then the next issue of all of it is Supermassive, which is the, I guess, annual now big old crossover one shot of all the books.
Yeah, because basically it was Radiant Black and then Supermassive happened, and that sort of kicked off. They introduced us to other characters like Rogue Sun.
Yeah, Supermassive introduced us to Rogue Sun, Inferno Girl read, and introduced at the end as a teaser, The Dead Lucky.
Oh, okay.
So this one is Rogue Sun, Dead Lucky, and Radiant Black. Cool. And then maybe there's some surprises inside. I don't know. Probably.
I loved, you showed me at the end there, the QR code that you can actually vote on something.
Yeah, you can vote on something.
It's just that you can vote.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they're voting on. I haven't read it. But you were telling me that they can vote, which I'm a sucker for. Like the things like the podcast that they do for No One, I think is really cool. And the QR code voting stuff, like I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. Like really involve your audience in new ways that and just makes it more exciting to read a comic book. That's all.
Everything is designed so incredibly well. Like the iconography of Radiant Black, like at least once a month I am on their merch store thinking like, do I want more Radiant Black attire?
Or something?
Yeah.
Hat?
All the time.
Same.
All the time.
Great little logo. I love it. I am sad that I am not caught up on this book all the time.
Stay sad.
But I just...
Stay mad.
I'm catching up on She-Hulk right now, and it's such a delightful time.
Yeah, it's fun.
Hopefully I'll catch up on Radiant Black. Spider-Man number 8 is what we're going to use to wrap up this show. Legacy numbering 164, and this is the Dan Slott series, Adjectiveless Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. With art by Bagley. The first 7 issues of this book were a wrap-up to the Spider-Verse that was going on. We're introduced to a Spider-Boy in the last issue.
Amazing little Spider-Boy.
3 panels. It was a very sought-after book. It's going for like $30 and $40 online already because it's the first appearance of Spider-Boy. And I didn't care about it. Like I was like, oh, what's the Spider-Boy business? Oh, he's on 3 panels. Great, thanks guys. However, we do get more Spider-Boy in this issue, and this is a jumping on point. If you're not reading Dan Slott's Spider-Man, that's okay. You can jump on with issue 8. It is a perfect bridge.
Say what you will about Marvel versus DC, blah blah blah. Marvel has recaps on every single issue that they publish.
Yes.
We're talking 2 paragraphs of what's up. Sometimes it doesn't really explain what's in the issue. However, it at least gives you an ordinary world to pick up any issue.
Yes.
DC is like, nah, fuck that, John.
Nope.
I think Bendis tried to do it for his books. It was doing it, but like it's just a publishing mandate of theirs. They don't.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, is there an old school mentality of like, we just figured it out and looked up stuff and it was great? But what's wrong with like a reminder?
Yeah. That's a good point. Not only is it good for people who are coming onto a book, it's good for me who has ADHD and I have no memory and my brain is bad.
I don't have ADHD and I still need to be reminded where the fuck we are sometimes.
What happened last time?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I read a lot of books.
And I really like this. This is a good Spider-Man book. A lot of people who are down on the Zeb Wells run, because they're wrong, I think might like this better.
Maybe. Which maybe is why I was bored by this.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
I mean, it just feels so. This is good or bad. It feels exactly like Dan Slott's Spider-Man that I got pretty bored with.
Okay.
What does Dan Slott want to explore? Spidey sense. Cool. Again, I feel. Well, it feels samesies. I know it's an expansion as opposed to a contraction. It's like not replacing it or removing it. It's just more of his kind of like the things he likes to do and just like more of it, which is fine.
The stuff that I enjoy.
I was a little bored by it.
That's fine. Basically, we have Peter is trying to help a bunch of folks, and he does not succeed in the way he wants to. So he's trying to figure out how to expand his spider sense so that not only does it affect him. Like what's going to cause danger to him is what he's aware of, but also other people. Yeah,
he wants to sense other people's danger.
Because there was in the multiverse of in the Spider-Verse, I should say, there was a character called Spiders Man. Yeah. Which was with thousands of spiders that thought it was Peter Parker, and they all worked in conjunction with each other to create a man-shaped massive spiders.
Because they ate him.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So. You know what? I
forgot that they ate him.
I think my problem is I don't necessarily buy the premise. Oh. I know that Peter is sometimes impulsive, doesn't necessarily think things through, But I guess I'm having trouble believing that he thinks it's a great idea to feel everyone else's fight or flight. That's insane.
Well, I don't... I'm not... Yeah.
It's like I'm having trouble squaring the circle on him truly thinking it's a good idea to sense everyone's danger responses in an area. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a terrible idea.
Yeah. Like, he's not... Like, you're not already overworked.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's not even that you're not already overwhelmed. Like, it's like Daredevil being like, oh, I have supersonic hearing and I'm able to hear people a mile away. But you know what would be great? If I can hear what other people are also hearing a mile away at the same time as hearing what I'm hearing a mile away. Like,
I disagree.
It just feels wild.
I mean, it does feel wild, but it also feels like it's in line with the version of Peter that I have in my head, who, his plan to help the city is to swing around randomly and hope that someone screams help, basically, right? And his spider sense is there to be like, hey, Pete, dodge. So if he's swinging by an area, it would help him to sense that other people are in danger if they can't call out for help or anything. It saves a lot of time of him having to just swing around randomly.
Sure.
Which he's been doing since the 60s. So to me, this kind of makes sense of like, hey, what if if I'm in a certain block area, I can sense that other people are actually in danger in that block area and I can help him. And of course, that goes wrong. And that's what our cliffhanger is.
Sure. But I mean, I just, it's a level of naivete that I sometimes I think Spider-Man's over, but I guess he's not. And even in so much as just the way it kind of all comes together in this one issue, like it starts and ends in this one issue. I don't know. I guess I just as a reader wanted to be convinced a little bit more. I do like the connection with this mysterious Spider Boy, though, feeling what he feels.
They are connected
seeing
in some way.
which is interesting.
Yeah,
so like that part of it I really dug.
And he's there's been a couple of times where he's like, as superheroes do, they're even by themselves, they're just talking out loud. They're just monologuing to themselves. And there's a couple of points here where he's like, he almost says his last name, but then he goes, whoa, I almost slipped. Or then he goes, oh yeah, Peter is my whoops. He cuts himself off, and he's just keeping you from getting the information that you're kind of looking for, which is kind of dumb and fun.
Everything involving Spider-Boy I really liked, but the general conceit of this whole book, I don't know. Give me another issue too to actually like buy into it, but because as it's presented here, it feels like a stretchies. I
was about to equate it to something else, but that just goes into your point more, that it is more like Dan Slott, because Superior Spider-Man, when Doc Ock was in his body, he had the same trouble. He's like, so this dude just swings around waiting for people to yell for help. What if I made little spider bots that patrolled the city and looked for people in trouble? So it's sort of like along the same lines, but a little less invasive maybe, because it's not video recording everybody in the city.
But I mean, I would think the other way around too about it being invasive in his own fucking head. Yeah. Like,
well, it is. I mean,
that's what I mean. Like, that's a huge problem. I don't know. I guess sometimes I hate how stupid Peter is.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I like it. Which I guess it's also it's a sign of a good story that's being told when you viscerally react to what a character is doing. Yeah. Like, right? Like, whether you like it or not, if it's effective, it's effective. And when he makes the choice, I'm like, God damn it, you fucking idiot. Like, like I can tell you right now all the ways it will go wrong and how it will continue to go wrong. Just take a beat.
Yeah.
And the fact that Norman even was just like, okay, like, stop it.
Well, he pushed.
Lightly, like a feather.
But he's also dealing with his own stuff about trying to like be helpful, and he sees this guy who he's been tormenting for years and like asking for his help. But
it's literally like a 1 page or like 2 or 3 panels of like, are you sure this is how I became the Goblin? Fine.
So maybe it would be better if it like took a little longer.
Well, I mean, even the testing of it was a non-existent of like, let's go full speed, let's go. Like, I mean, 2 scientists.
Right, but also that's how spider characters work. The lizard is like, hey, I've got this serum. What if I just put it in me?
Look, I understand. It's just like
it's all science gone wrong.
In the 60s, I wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, why are you doing that, buddy?
Yeah, little buddy.
Why, stop it. But then again, but like, I from what I recall of it, I haven't read all of Dan Slott's run, but all of the Spidey Sense stuff where he would remove it and it would be on the fritz. That was, I felt like that started getting tired too. Like I just wanted it to work again, which like kind of kept me on the hook. Whereas this, and that was something he didn't do to himself.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like, it's almost like pushing the same button but harder and then willingly, and it's just, I don't know, it makes me, cringe is not the right word, but it makes me like,
gotcha,
dude.
Yeah, this felt like classic Spidey to me. So
Yeah, well, you know what? Classic Spidey sucks.
yeah, what an idiot.
What a garbage. What a garbage.
So that's garbage fresh.
No, you know what? This was like, look, everyone that works in this book knows exactly what they're doing. They're very good at it. It rubbed me the wrong way because I am enjoying a different version of Spidey somewhere else.
That everyone else hates.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's absolutely
I love
great.
It. It's so good.
Wait, what are you excited about? What else are you excited about this week?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Dawn of DC, Adventures of Superman, John Kent, #3 by Tom Taylor. This dude is killing this book. Clayton Henry is drawing his butt off, and Tom Taylor is writing his butt off. Everyone's buttless on this book. It's very, very good.
There are no butts. It's just, it's all flat surfaces.
It's just, they slide off of everything. They can't sit down. But yeah, the Injustice Saga is what it's called now, apparently. And it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. It's not big and, I mean, I guess it is kind of big and crazy.
Yeah, it's very big and crazy.
A lot of multiverse stuff happening.
Yeah, it's in the
books.
it's in the water. Yeah. I am excited to finish the aforementioned Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMN Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2, number 5. This is the final issue of this sequel miniseries, written by Ryan Parrott, with art by I forget the man's name. I think it's like Dan Mori or something like that.
He's so good.
This book is stupid, but like in every way that anything that's fun can ever be stupid. We're talking like
Shellhead? Is that what his name
It's
was?
a Zord. That's a city. That's a city
God,
size.
you're right. That's a huge.
So this is a sequel series, but you don't necessarily have to read the first one. In the first one, the Turtles and the Power Rangers get together to fight a super powered up Shredder.
Yeah.
Because Shredder made a deal with Rita, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
Makes sense.
But this one, Casey's a Dark Ranger, and Rita's doing crazy stuff, and Krang is the size of a city building and is in Zords, and the actual Rangers, their power coins aren't working, so Donatello's like, hey, I think that we can activate them with some mutagen, and then they turn them into some ooze, and then they turn them into dinosaur versions of the Rangers. Like, it's just such a big stupid. This kind of book is a constant yes and. Yeah, and what if we did this? Yeah, but like, what if we did this too? And like, yeah. Like, it's wild escalation.
Nice.
And it ends on a cliffhanger. Even though it's the end of the series, it ends on a cliffhanger. And you're like, okay, let's go. I want this in.
Let's go Power Rangers. I don't.
It's a big stupid
Power
book.
Range. I've never watched the show, or I tried to watch the show. And
I haven't either.
I was beyond it age wise, and also budget wise. But this looks fun.
I actually didn't like the Power Rangers when I was growing up either. We're both just a little too old.
Yeah.
But all of these Boom Studios comic books have been just phenomenal.
Nice.
I'm very, very happy with them. It's a group of Peter Parkers.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just good superhero comicking. If anything, it's hindered by the fact that it's IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't really go crazy.
Well, not even they go crazy. It just has an association to it.
Oh yes, so, I'm associating it with a terrible TV show.
Yeah, the TV show is terrible. Yes. The comic book is just like masterfully done in regards to like superhero comics, but it's got an association of a stupid TV show. So you know, whatever.
Maybe. Do you have Volume 1?
I have them all.
Was that also by Dan Mora?
Yes and no. Wait, of Turtles?
Well, I'm sorry, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 1.
I have Part 1 in issues somewhere, but it's not. It's Simone Di Maio.
Oh, yeah. Also good.
Yeah, so like both of them have been great artists.
Oh, that's a great. I like him too.
No, I don't have it. I was and it's only been released in. I have it in issue somewhere, and it's only been soft covers, but I really want them to do like a
nice,
big old
maybe when
nasty
it's all done, they'll
hardcover.
do
Maybe
like
like a
nasty, a big old
yeah,
nasty
I want a
hardcover.
nasty slipcase, bitch. I want it. I'm just gonna slide it right into the shelf.
Gross.
No lubricant.
I'm excited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo crossover by Stan Sakai.
There's a new issue today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to read the first one.
Me neither. But I like Usagi and I like turtles, so I'm curious about it. All right, everyone, go to your local comic shop today. Go buy some comic books. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Go to my comic shop, 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. Listen to us tonight, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
Eastern Standard Time,
where we will be talking about...
I think we're going to do a preview of the summer movies.
Nice.
Yeah, because starting this week, starting tomorrow... The summer officially starts with Guardians of the
Galaxy. We're going Friday night. I'm very excited.
I'm going tomorrow night. Nice. I'm very excited.
All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will talk at you later.
Do.
Thank you for listening to the Cult Pop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.